Continuing on with gig reviews.
Definitely isn't a bit edited out here.
No.
No.
We're going to talk briefly about 2 other gigs that happened during April.
This is the longest podcast in the history of podcasts.
And we're just going to keep going. The first one up is 18 Years of the Distortion Project, which was a gig a couple of Saturdays ago. It had 11 bands on it.
We should get Liam's opinion because it'll not take long because he only saw 3.
Liam, what did you think of the first hour and a half?
I think I was in the 7th circle of hell, and I'm going to blame one of our other contributors, Longboy, and Anna from Acid Age, because they're bad influences.
He thought he could party with 20-year-olds.
Yeah, I know, I really couldn't.
Led astray.
So, ended up not getting any sleep the night before, and partying like I shouldn't have.
Thank you, because your misery cured my hangover.
Yeah,
I thought I was going to die, and then I saw you.
I'm glad I was able to, help some people out. But I saw the first 3 bands, and I am a disgrace and disgusted with myself. So please, leave your comments and say what you have to say. I thought Congenital Abnormalities were awful.
But I think your thing, like.
That wasn't my thing at all. It really, really wasn't. Plus,
you're not a slammy boy.
I've got to say, Jordy, I love the fact that you're so fucking prolific with your stuff and you're putting all this stuff out. But don't go on stage till you get a fucking band together. Seeing 2 guys playing guitars with backing tracks, even if I had been in great form, and I would never have enjoyed that.
If a band can get away with it, though, it's going to be a slam band where the whole thing is.
I totally get where you're coming from, and I do agree with you. I don't think if you're not ready, if you haven't got the full lineup, to me,
don't play.
It's not ready to take it out on stage.
Get a fucking band together.
Now that being said, there are no other slam bands in Belfast.
See, right? I don't know the whole slam thing, so that doesn't really...
For me, I would make the exception there and just go, okay, you know what, this is the only way I'm going to see any local band play slam, is if Jordy comes out. Man, I'm not talented in any way, what shape or form.
Yeah,
so if the only
Nickelback are fucking massive.
If the only way I'm going to get to see a slam band is by Jordy coming out with a backing track, then fine. I accept that.
Yeah, but like I said, it didn't work for me. Scimitar, I'm not a fan. Not a fan at all. And that gig didn't change my opinion.
They were fucking great. They were great to the point where whenever they finished, I went back up to them, straight up to them, I was like, no. You aren't finished. Get back on stage and do Behead the Beast and Sleepy Hollow. Yeah, and they were having none of it because
they wanted to go play God of War.
So they wanted to go home and play PlayStation.
It was. Well, see, then that's. Did they go home and play PlayStation?
No,
most of them hung about. I think most of them hung about.
They did. They hung around for Fairback.
But it's they're not my thing. I don't like them.
Yeah.
Sky Pilot started to get. I thought I was getting a second when you saw me.
You did like 10 seconds ago.
I was.
And then went.
Well, I did that a couple of times. I was stomping the foot, and I was getting into them, and I thought the sound was quite subdued again. It was you couldn't hear the vocals an awful lot. It was, and the guitar was quite low, I thought. But to be fair, my ears were probably somewhere else.
Hang on, did you not actually fall asleep during Scimitar? So I'm not quite sure how you can judge them.
No,
you fell asleep during someone.
I almost fell asleep during Scimitar. I was sat.
It's not what you told me on the day.
I was, I probably did, but it was. To be fair, I'm not going to say that was Scimitar's fault. That was.
No, that was your fault.
That was my fault.
One of the things I will say about that gig is I'm not coming out with a full review as such here because I was on the rip some shots. I'll cover a few highlights of the day. One of the big highlights of the day was seeing Senescence come on stage with a new vocalist.
So fucking gutted I missed that.
And the reason I'll say that, and I always have a good time seeing Senescence. I always enjoy them, but they're a band I've always been a wee bit conflicted about for various reasons that I'm not going to go into right now. They're a band like a lot of the older bands in Belfast that need a kick in the ass. And I think this new vocalist is the kick in the ass that Senescence need. And
it was
I gotta be honest, memories are a wee bit hazy. of the new vocalist, but I remember being impressed.
Mine weren't.
I do remember being impressed.
As soon as he came on stage, and I mean, unfortunately they were running late, so he planned on doing 2 songs, he only got to do 1.
That, yeah.
The whole energy of the whole band, it just lifted. I think it just because I was chatting to Jim after, and he was saying it makes everything so much easier, because then it means Morrow can then do the backing vocals and he can concentrate more on the guitar. Jim then doesn't have to do as many backing vocals because he was doing all that.
Jim was the better vocalist.
But and then he gets to concentrate more on his playing and stuff.
Yeah.
And there was just, I don't know if Morrow had been happy for it. He just suddenly there was a pressure lifted off him.
It's maybe just watching him play. He's always kind of felt subdued, or it felt constricted is maybe the word.
They just seemed so much happier.
Yeah.
As a band, and even and then Anto and all. It just.
I love watching Anto play.
I loved it.
Anto. There's something about the way he plays. There's this agitated, nervous, fucking twitchy thing that he does, and I could sit and just watch him play all day long.
I felt for a while that you can almost see the cobwebs starting to build around Senescence, and to me this blew away the cobwebs. I think that's the best way I can put it.
I can't wait to see the full set.
Yeah,
should be good. Other highlights in the day for me. I loved seeing Dunham Die, the shorter set. I think they suit them a shorter set better.
How good were they? Because we had issues.
Really
I mean, I was proper hammered.
But we had issues with their album launch because they hadn't played for so long, and Thomas burned himself out coming out.
That was the problem. This was more paced. They paced themselves, but they still had that energy. I thought they were great. What I remember of it. I'm trying to think who else was playing.
My other highlight was, one of them was By Any Means. It's been a while since they've played.
I forgot about that.
And
I think Mickey is the fucking perfect vocalist for them because he scares me.
He's fucking terrifying.
See, playing, watch a photograph of them and stuff. It usually, somewhere like Voodoo, you're genuinely terrified because he's coming off the stage, he's swinging the mic, he's gonna fuck you up if he hits you. But yeah, it's like even watching them at the Limelight, you can imagine him jumping off that stage and fucking you up. And that's right, yeah. He's again another band I'm really fucking annoyed that I miss because I'm not a big fan of their stuff on album. Yeah. But live, yeah, you can't not enjoy it. Like they're just so fucking good.
Sure.
Last track, Hardcore Dave was down. So I've completely forgot what's the last track called.
Using Both Hands.
Using Both Hands. So Hardcore Dave got up. Wayne got up.
I saw the pictures.
So
really excited.
The three of them.
There was somebody had a picture up.
So Mickey, Hardcore Dave and Wayne on stage, and it's
was
weird.
Someone else as well,
No, but it's like the three of you seem to know how to. You all sort of fade in, like you work really well together. You don't rehearse, and considering you're fucking hammered, that's unreal.
This is my memories, right? A band. Gone up on stage, right, and Paul always has a lot of guitarists that do backup vocals well. The microphone was wrapped around the microphone stand, so being hammered, you've got to try and detangle all that, right? And I thought I had it untangled, and then I grabbed it, and the microphone stand fell off the stage, and then I was trying to pick it back up again, but it was like, well, what's the point? Just leave it there. And then I got stood in the microphone cable, and then I got stuck under the monitor. And then I couldn't hear myself. Like whenever I used to do vocals in the band, I had a lot of me in the monitor.
Because you're
it's all about you.
So I couldn't hear myself, so I had no idea what was coming out of the speakers. So I give it full beans, blew my voice out entirely.
Oh, right? That was so funny.
But I had no idea that I'd blown my voice out because I couldn't hear myself until the very end of the song. And I thought, I'm giving props to everyone here. Like after the crowd had calmed down, and I shouted,
Kermit the Frog.
Up a By Any Means, up a Distortion Project, and up a Mona fucking bypass, right? But it came out more like up a By Any Means, up a Distortion Project. It's like, oh no. But it fully committed it. That's still that's too late.
Plus, Hardcore Dave I got the mic for like 3 words, which I always appreciate. And also, Paul dedicated a song to me and, went on about how, I'm a top bird and stuff, and I am completely vain, and I love that.
He did get a wee bit overly flirtatious.
I mean, I'm used to the amount of bands that dedicate songs to him is fucking sickening.
Yeah.
So having someone actually
legend,
dedicate a song to me, I'm all over that shit. Like.
Right.
Also, Draconis, awesome. Crawling, awesome. Rabbit Bitch the North, awesome. Everyone was awesome, pretty much.
I hate myself.
During the crawling, I know I had a good time at the crawl because I don't not have a good time. I remember going to the bar before they came on, and it was like, right, it's the last band of the night, probably going to be the last round. Got myself 2-cider, got you 2-cider, walked up to the front with 4-cider, and you went, nah, I'm alright.
Because I had 2-cider in my hand, so it was like, can I finish these ones first?
And I drank all 4 bottles of cider. I was already fucking rolled off, and I drank all 4 bottles during the crawl. I remember just kind of hanging over the barrier and kind of headbang. Oh, it was a mess.
It was the place was packed out, and it was amazing to see from the start. The place is packed out, and it's a testament to the hard work that James does.
It was. I mean, we talked about at one stage about the running order and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And I
think it was a fucking great running order.
And I said at the time, well, who's right? I don't give a fuck about. I said at the time, what matters is that this is a fucking huge celebration of the bands that we have at the minute, and how fucking healthy, in my opinion anyway, the local metal scene is.
Yeah.
And that's what it was.
Anyway.
That's what it was. Just everyone out, fucking loads of people out, having loads of drinks, watching loads of bands, and just having a hell of a day. And the sun was out, and it was
first really proper sunny day of the year, and we spent the day in a dark room.
Oh, we're outside hanging about during, Conjuring Fate and whatnot.
Oh, and just
not a bad band, just not my cup of tea.
And just to counteract Liam, Scimitar, I thought were fantastic.
They absolutely were. Every band.
I love all the new blast beats and oh my, Rand's just.
Every band I watched that day was superb.
10 out of 11 bands.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, there was 11 bands on, and I'll be honest, I only watched 9, right? And that's
not. One you didn't watch?
I didn't. I'm almost sure I didn't see Rabbit Bitch. I think
Really?
I just ended up outside chatting and having a laugh and stuff, because another thing I'll say about that day, and this is going to sound a wee bit totes a moosh, but see the amount of love in that room. See when you go down to those Distortion Project gigs, or you go down to the War Zone, or you go down to Voodoo at one of these nights, the amount of people that come up to you and shake your hand and give you a hug and ask how things are, I think it's fucking awesome.
The scene's just amazing, and I didn't even get speaking to people I wanted to get speaking to, and
what I would like to see then is those numbers turning up to more gigs. I get that it was a celebration and some people are coming out, but you know what, it's great to see that, but it's like, right, these gigs like this are, maybe not with so many bands, but gigs of this quality are happening almost every week. James is putting this shit on all the time.
Like from a promoter perspective, they shouldn't need to put on 11 bands to get people out.
Exactly.
I get what you're saying.
And great. Thank you for coming down and actually fucking lasting more than 3 fucking bands.
You were not the only person left early. At least you left under your own steam. There were people being dragged out.
Myself and Anna, it was a mess, and but
Lauren survived all night, which fair fucks to her.
She's a fucking freak of nature.
We need to tip the hat to Lauren. No sleep the night before and made it right the whole way through.
Hardcore as fuck. But guys that came down to that they don't come to these, start coming to this shit all the time. You're gonna have days like this with 3 or 4 bands. The crack we have at these gigs, the fucking the love you're feeling. If we start bringing more people into it, this is going to happen.
I would hazard a guess that there's a lot of people with kids and commitments and stuff that just can't regularly go to gigs.
I'm not saying come to everything, but you're seeing faces that aren't going to any of those gigs.
I think some people will make an exception when there's something special. Is that all?
The thing that made me very happy, the amount of band members who weren't playing, their bands weren't playing. They like Ketos were down, Rusty Tail Sweetness were down, and I just had a mind blank. There was just so many people there, bands that weren't playing down, and it's good to see that.
The thing is, this is once again, there's another thing that bands have to turn up to other bands' gigs, because promoters like James notices the bands that turn up to his gigs.
I would say so.
Yeah.
And there are some bands that are saying, why isn't James booking us? Why isn't James booking us as well? Because you only show up to the gigs that you're playing. You're not showing up to other fucking gigs. Plus, it's not just the promoters. Then you get to hang out with the other bands, and other bands will see you going, "Oh right, they showed it at our gigs. We're playing this. Do you want to fucking play it?" And it snowballs, it spirals, and that's how shit works.
If you support the promoters will support your
exactly.
band.
Why would they put you on when you haven't actually fucking helped them?
That being said, if you're in a shit band, don't go to gigs. So I don't want to see it.
Well, no, I actually go to loads of gigs so that actually realise how to not be shit.
Yeah.
I
was joking.
Hard to tell sometimes.
Moving on from 18 Years of Distortion Project, another highlight of April for me was actually last night in the Warzone.
I apologise in advance for anyone who was there because I had a few too many.
Again, not an official review because the Sesh Gremlins were out in full force, but the bands were Order 66.
No, you forgot
Oracle.
So Much for the Sun.
I'm not necessarily done in order.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Order 66, Oracle, So Much for the Sun, Disconnect, and Tars.
Yes.
I'm just gonna say straight off the bat, 3 highlights for me would be Order 66, hardcore band from Dublin. Used to have 2 vocalists and I preferred them when they did. Down to 1, still fucking great, really good band, loads of energy, heavy as fuck. Disconnect were brilliant. I'm loving those guys at the minute. Their live show is fantastic, and I have to give a massive shout out to Tars because they're a band that have grown so much. Whenever I first seen Tars, I was kind of on the fence a wee bit.
It was a wee bit cringy.
They're fucking great now. They've got Adrian from Aiden
from Death of a
Aiden
Salesman.
from Death of a Salesman plays bass for them now, does backing vocals. Daniel is he's a great frontman for the style of band that they are. Again, high energy, but there's just something really fucking, that sounds cringy but there's something deep about it. I really like them. I think they're a great band now.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Order 66, I fucking love them. I think that's actually the first time I've properly seen them with drinks in me, and I apologise in advance for the fact that I pretended to be able to throw digs, but I'm a middle-aged woman. I really can't, so I'm sure that was cringy as shit, but nah, and I'm pretty sure, Bruce coming up from where Wayne battered me, but...
You got
Towers, I mean, Oracle...
Sorry,
just
I should have mentioned
absolutely fucking wrecked the show.
Oracle,
I mean,
were fantastic.
That's if what they did last night, and yes, I was drunk, but if they do what they did last night in the final, I think they're going to win.
I think one of the great things that Oracle showed last night was that they're dynamic in that they can fit with metal bands. They can play with the likes of Kidos, but they can play with like hardcore venues and play hardcore shows because there's some heavy fucking riffs in there that
got some proper.
And then Disconnect were, my memory's a bit hazy, but I remember just standing there on stage and going, "What the fuck, the sound!" It was. I think you're right. They got.
Yeah.
They definitely got.
Had
whole, so much more than what they got to show.
The whole melt your face expression is just sums them up.
The amount of passion bursting out of them guys was unreal. Top gig. Cheers to Ali, I think, put it on.
Ali did. Top notch. Top marks. Okay. That brings us to upcoming gigs! Each month we are going to give you the rundown of the best gigs coming on the month ahead. We won't necessarily cover everything because it could get a bit boring, me just rattling off a load of gig listens. So we'll pick out what we think are the best, and we'll maybe mention a few that we don't think are the best, but we're doing as a favour to people.
Or so, other people may appreciate and not us.
Yeah. Okay, so through May of 2018, on May 11th, we've got the Metal to the Masses final. I don't think we need to talk any more about that. Yeah. That is in Bar Sub. On the same night, May 11th, we have Discharge, very famous punk band. They are playing in Voodoo, and they've got support from By Any Means, Death Bus, and Death Grip.
I'm raging, I'm missing that.
Out of those 2 gigs, I think it's pretty obvious where we're going to be. It's a shame that one of them isn't an early show and that, people couldn't attend both, but such is life. There's always going to be clashes. On May the 13th, there's a band called Tragedy. Don't get mixed up because there's 2 bands called Tragedy. I've done it before.
And it was a tragedy when you realised you were saying the wrong one.
It was. This is a heavy metal band that play covers of
ABBA.
The Bee Gees and ABBA, isn't it?
I think so.
No, all metal tribute. Oh yeah, all metal tribute to the Bee Gees and
Bee Gees
Beyond.
and Beyond. I think they do ABBA as well.
Yeah, and Saturday Night Fever, and basically all kinds of disco stuff.
I honestly can't imagine anything more painful. But might be your cup of tea.
Yeah.
Heavy metal Bee Gees, who knows?
Decent support though. Scimitar, Kidos, and Dominus.
Yeah, decent support if you're going to an actual metal gig. I'm sorry, if you're putting on a tribute band, you don't put on 3 actual serious metal bands of support. You put on another kind of fun band, one other band. Those Scimitar, Kitos, and Indominus they're not going to get people. I think it's...
If I was going down to that, it'd be for the support, and I think the support would blow Tragedy off the stage. But the thing is,
if I was going to go see a band like Tragedy, I wouldn't be there for the support. I'd be there for... That's a night out. That's just a bit of crack. I'm not there to see actual bands. I'm there to see a bit of crack.
I think we're probably not doing anyone any favours.
Yeah,
but I just imagine a lot of people at that don't really go to the sort of gigs that we go to.
Yeah, and the thing is, they're not going to turn up for the support bands.
Yeah.
It's...
I think that's fair. I
think it's a bit of a disaster, that one.
Again, in Voodoo on May 16th, anyone into sludgy, slow, doomy, heavy stuff, you've got 2 fantastic bands. I think we're seeing them both later in the year, so I don't know if they'll make it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're both Boomtown. Conan and Monolord, and they've also got support by Elder Druid. That could be a really good gig. I imagine that'll be pretty well attended. I can't remember who's putting that on. Is that James?
I think that might be James.
Yep.
Yeah.
On Tuesday, May 15th, now this, if you're asking for my opinion, this is a fucking banger and I would not miss this. Coil Guns, not necessarily my cup of tea. Support from Baylor, and that's why you need to be there. If you like, best way to describe it, there's a style of hardcore which sounds a bit like Cancer Bats but heavier. If you're into that, Baylor are fucking superb. They're so good.
I think they're about to blow up. They've had interviews with Metal Hammer and all recently. Right. They're gonna...
I think they're one of the best bands on the island right now. They are so fucking good. Support from Disconnect, who we've already sung the praises of tonight. And then Bosco Ramos, anyone familiar?
I've seen them a few times, not really a fan. I think they're probably a bit light.
Is that a John? That must be a Shizney Promotions gig.
Oh yeah. Yeah, 4 bands, and usually none of them connecting in any way, sense or shape or form.
You're right, because whenever I seen Baylor, I went and had a listen to Coil Guns today and expected it to be something similar. It's not.
Yeah, so it's...
Okay, there's a big one coming up on May 18th that I would also highly recommend people check out, and it's arguably a weird one for us, and I'll explain why in a minute. It's Crypto the Riff Festival. Am I right in saying it's Jake from Elder Druid?
Jake, it's his. He set up a promotions company.
Yeah.
Can't remember what they're called now.
It's a Friday night and it starts at 7 o'clock. It's going to be a tight show because you've got Gargantua, who are headlining. Not familiar with them myself. And then support comes from Elder Druid, Hornets, Molar Bear, Two Tails of Woe, Zora, So Much for the Sun, and Goatschlager.
How the fuck are they all playing in one night?
I have no
Starting
idea.
at 7?
Starting at 7. And how is Plain Living Promotions, that's the name of Jake's promotions. But more to the point, not only how are they all playing on the one night, how is that building supposed to actually stand that kind of fucking heaviness?
The weird thing about it is it's being pitched as a Doom festival, right? And I wouldn't be overly keen on Doom as a genre, but love Elder Druids, love Hornets, quite keen on Molar Bear. Talk about that.
I love Molar Bear.
Love Two Tails of Woe. I've heard good things about Zora, and listened to a wee bit of Goatschlager recently, who I really liked. The whole thing is only £8 if you book in advance, or it's a tenner on the night. The other thing with that show is there is a Belfast premiere of a documentary called The Doom Doc, which is a documentary about Doom music, believe it or not. You'll need to check us out because I got a wee bit confused about the pricing. I think it's £5 to see the documentary, but if you pay £5 to see the documentary, you then get into the gig for £5. So then it's a tenner for the gig and the documentary. Double check that because I'm wrong.
Thing is, there's also, they've set up a playlist on Spotify with songs from every band, which has new fucking music from Two Tales of Woe. So yeah, that's definitely worth checking out. That's going to be such a gig.
And then the final gig that we'll be mentioning on May 26th, Volbeat or Volbeat? I know people that say Volbeat.
Well, those people are idiots.
Really?
Yeah, it's Volbeat.
Where are they from?
They're Danish.
And how did Danes pronounce their V's?
They call it Volbeat on stage.
Okay.
So
Volbeat and Behemoth. That'd be a good bill, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Andy Campbell.
Yep. I gotta say, I kind of like Volbeat. Now, I understand why people don't listen to all their albums. I think they've got about 5 or 6 albums at least. You could probably get one album and an EP of absolute fucking classic bangers.
2 or 3 good songs, probably.
Yeah, something like that.
The Foo Fighters of metal.
Oh, they're not that bad. But yeah, they're live. They're just fucking great. I can't remember who the support is. I think they've got decent support.
I've never sat down and listened to them, but I've seen them.
My
live.
really petty reason for not liking them is the supported Metallica. And then they came back the next year, and I can't remember who it was that supported, but they got on stage and they were like, we're so excited, this is our first time playing Belfast. It was like, nah, you were here
2 nights in a row with Metallica for fun.
You didn't get a very good reception, but you can't pretend it didn't happen.
It sounds like Belfast.
Was there.
It sounds like Belfast has had as much of an impact on them as they have had on me, because I've seen them live, I think 3 or 4 times.
They don't do anything for you.
And there's no real memory. They've never had.
I'm probably going to enjoy it. But
now, what I will say about that gig is it's in the Belfast Telegraph building. That building is being used for gigs for approximately 18 months, and it's a fucking cracking venue for gigs, providing you move about, because it does get pretty cold.
I was about to say, bring a coat, because it gets... although, to be fair, the only gig I saw in there was in So I Watch You From Afar in December.
It was...
And that was December, because the doors stay open at the front and stuff, and it gets cold, but that's going to be May. Hopefully it'll be warm enough.
That building's being turned into apartments, so that venue is only going to
be
used.
Every building's being turned into fucking apartments.
So it's only going to be used for gigs for a certain period of time. So if you fancy checking out as a venue, personally, I love going to gigs and new venues.
I've not been to it before, but I'm going to it on Friday for the first time to see Scooter. Which is just not going to remotely appeal to anyone on this podcast, but I can't fucking
There's a few gigs that people might be interested in. I think Hailstorm are playing there. I think theirs was upgraded. Calm yourself. And also Blackstone Cherry were upgraded to it as well. So if you like your kind of bluesy, middle of the road...
If you like shit bands, you can go see Hailstorm and Blackstone Cherry.
Ouch.
I'm only kidding. Everyone's going, what the fuck's going on?
Technology.
What the fuck are you doing?
I'm being spastic, please forgive me. Yeah, so that's all the gigs from May. Give us a wee bit of feedback. I don't know if that's useful for people running through up and coming gigs. I think it's worth chatting about. I think the people that run the gigs maybe appreciate just a wee bit of promotion for them. But that leads us on to the very last section of this podcast. You say as you...
Is anyone still watching?
No, we can say what we want right now.
Everyone's dead.
Moving on to our third album review. Album reviews! This is going to be a reasonably quick review of a up and coming release. Band called Molar Bar is releasing... Is it their first full album?
It's their first album,
It's their first full album. It's called Storklord. It's out on the 18th of May. I know that it's going to be on Bandcamp. I don't know about other
they will probably,
platforms.
I think, have it on Spotify. They've got other stuff on Spotify.
I guess it'll be on Amazon, Spotify, iTunes, the like. If you go to the Bandcamp page, you can actually buy a t-shirt and CD combo for 15 quid, which I think is fucking great. Or you can pre-order it digital for 8 quid.
And they will be selling both the album and the t-shirt, I believe, at Crypt of the Riff.
Right, are they launching it at Crypt of the Riff?
I think they might be.
Right.
Because they've not actually announced an actual album launch, so I think it's going to be available there and then.
They have sent us the album to let us preview it. we'll just come out and say this right now. Any bands that want to send us the material so that we can talk shit about it, feel free. I'm more than happy to help you promote it.
We're also a wee bit lazy, so it might not always happen. But
sorry, winteriness.
Liam,
yeah, sorry.
what do you reckon to Stork Lord?
Right, I have been a fan of Molar Bear for quite a while. I just think I'm not really a big sludgy doomy fan, but these guys have a sense of humour and there's an energy about them.
Mm-hmm.
And this album, I think, encapsulates pretty much everything that I love about them. They've got that heavy sludginess going on, but there's also a lot of powerful drive and stuff. They've also thrown in a few wee things you've not expected from them before. There's like some clean vocals. I think Peace Hammer would be the tune that that sticks out for me. This is a fucking cracking album for my money. It's
you get a sludgy doomy vibe from it.
Yeah, but it's not a massive. They're not Slomatics or
no, definitely not.
No.
So much for the song or anything like that. But there's definitely riffs there that could have been slowed down and just turned into.
See, I find it very Mastodon-y.
I get massive Mastodon vibe.
There's definitely a Mastodon vibe.
Early Mastodon.
I also think there's times when you can definitely pick up a Quicksand, Rival Schools sort of vibe off them as well, with some of their sort of more poppy moments.
They're not bands I'd be familiar with.
Yeah. If you want to sort of hit touch points with bands, they do get quite Jesus lizardy at times.
Again.
Which
don't know.
Yeah, which is that's the more sort of the kind of punkier, discordant elements to them.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. Like there's a track called Ceratops,
which I think we'll maybe get this if in a previous incarnation before this album that would probably have been called Michael Ceratops.
Yes, probably.
My note for Ceratops was weirder.
Yeah, that's it.
It's definitely weirder than the rest of it.
Yeah, it's got like is that the one that has like a kind of there's like a slow breakdown in the middle of it?
It's
that.
I'm not too sure if it is an acoustic guitar, but there's something very not anywhere near the level of distortion that you get across.
They slow it down and it gets a wee bit kind of very trippy almost.
Yes,
there's that kind of.
There's lots of that through it.
I would say similar to Sky Pilot and that kind of vibe.
The overall, I like the album, but there's 3 tracks bundled together.
Yeah.
And those 3 tracks are the Prophecy, Bird of Prey, Stark Lord. Those 3 tracks to me are bangers, absolute bangers. Like
Bird of Prey is fucking. That's the first time I think actually.
If they take this album to the stage and they don't play those 3 songs, I'm gonna be going like, why aren't you playing those?
No, I think Bird of Prey definitely because they previewed that at a gig I saw them a while back, and that really just stuck out. It's a bit poppier than their usual kind of stuff.
There's that big. See that Bird of Prey? It's got that big dun dun dun.
Yeah.
And then there's like a bit of vocal, and that repeats. And I don't know if there's a lot of intricate work within this, right? And then to me that's just a big fucking dumb heavy riff, and I don't know if this is sort of like if you'd sat and worked on all those little intricate bits and then someone like me comes along and goes, I love the bit that goes dun dun dun. Is that a wee bit sort of missing the point? I don't know.
Thing is,
that's
they
the
love
track
their heavy.
has like cleaner vocals as well.
Yeah. It reminds me of I'm gonna make more references to Mastodon. I forget the name of the drummer in Mastodon right now.
Oh fuck.
I know exactly. I think
Brent
the song you're
Taylor?
talking about.
No, Brent's guitarist.
Brent Owens.
What song? I think I know exactly what song.
Anyway, his style of vocals to me come across on that Bird of Prey.
It's like
track.
dreamier.
The song the first 2 tracks I kind of was a bit.
Well, to me, this first couple of tracks are very your typical Molar Bear. They're kind of fuzzy. There's that slight stonery doom element, but it's more of coming from a punk angle. I think it's like it's just fast and driving, and there's a certain snottiness about them.
Yeah, but then the Prophecy, when the first of those 3 tracks that I talk about, when that hits in, it just the whole album just
kicks up a gear is what I wrote down.
But but then after that 3 with that track Ceratops that we mentioned, and it's weird and discordant, and I'm sure it's intentional, but it doesn't seem to fit together to me. and the rest of the album, I'm kind of waiting for something to happen again. And there's a song called "A Scar and a Word," and I've got a note here saying that like I really started to drift away from the album.
I've got to say, yeah, from Peace, because
Teeth and Bone.
I was going to say that was my favourite.
Yeah.
Teeth and Bone. I
Teeth
just
and Bone
absolutely
is
left
another
out.
major.
a Scar and a Word does kind of, you know, yeah, it's not maybe up to the level, but yeah, like I said, then Teeth and Bone come in a bit kind of snarly, and you know, the title I think fucking sums that song up pretty much. For me, it's the way they run out the album. The second last song, Finisher, is like this instrumental
Which
thing.
annoys me. Why is the second to last song called The Finisher? You've done that
Because-
deliberately. Just
Because
annoying.
they're quite contrary bastards.
Yeah.
I reckon they're. Part of me thinks they've maybe done that on purpose, but then also knowing them, it's they probably don't think that much ahead. But it's like 2.5 minutes of just like kind of dreamy
just all
sort
acoustic,
of
well, like
and,
no vocals, just
yeah. And I said to Andy, the guitarist, it's like, man, what annoys me about that song is I want that to be a fucking 8 to 12 minute instrumental with loads of shit going on, just expand on it.
Ooh, I don't.
But you know, not just playing that the whole time, but you know, fucking build on it and work on it. Yeah.
Okay.
But it goes into the last song, Sky Funeral, I think quite well, and that to me is that Sky Funeral just is Molar Bear for me. It's got everything that they do.
There's a wee melody in Sky Funeral that reminds me of part of Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds. And I can't remember what part of War of the Worlds it is. I think it might be like the Red Weed or something. There's just this wee melody, and because I matched that up with something else that I know, I can just kind of relate to it. And I really like that song for that. So that would be the 5th song on the album that I would say I really like. So half of it I love, and half of it I'm just kind of it's merely there for me. I don't mean to be too negative towards it, but it's just not as memorable compared to those other 4 or 5 tracks that I really do like.
what?
There's an incredible EP there, but it's not. It's a full album.
Yeah.
What I found, I mean, and I haven't listened to it as much as you. I mean, firstly, it's like it's done as an album. There's some kind of story going on there. I don't quite.
Oh yeah, it's a concept album basically about this Stork Lord,
But
and
Stork Lord.
I'm not quite sure what the actual details are, but it sounds like pretty fucked up and weird. Which I would love to see them do concept videos for certain songs.
Damn right.
If you know, I'm pretty sure Wayne will help you out with that. Shit. You know?
But what I found with the album, I found it like ebbed and flowed. It would build and then it would pull it back and it would build again. And I think you like the bits where it built.
Yes.
But I get what they were doing with the building it up and pulling it back and building it.
I love that.
It works as an album. Do people listen to whole albums as much, or is it more people are willing to rip out singles? Just kind of.
I think music.
That's a good question.
I think music fans do.
Yeah,
Still.
but there will still be people that will just go and this is an
I will
album you have
confess.
to immerse yourself in. This isn't something you can just stick on in the background.
It's a bit mental.
You need to
be honest.
you need to walk around with this in your headphones, or you dedicate some actual time to it, and actually get invested in it.
I've mentioned that there's like those 5 tracks that I really like, and they're the heavier, meatier tracks, and the rest of them I'm less keen on. I appreciate that it is the kind of band that's gonna put an album out like that.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't Hatebreed. They're not gonna come out with like 10 absolute ragers and melt your face off. That is not what they're trying to do. So it is kind of me applying my personal taste in an album that's not necessarily something that I would always listen to, but I can definitely, I keep saying about these 5 tracks, but I definitely love those 5 tracks, and if they were playing that stuff live, I would be
they're gonna
more than happy to go see
they'll
them.
be playing quite a few of these songs
They'll be-
live at the Crypt and the Riff, I think.
Yes.
I think it's live. They're also great because once again another band that just has the crack.
Yeah.
And it's universal crack as well. Like they know how to appeal to their audience, but they can appeal to anybody. And
I think one of the other things that might work in their favour, an awful lot of the parts of the songs, a lot of it was quite chanty. So there was a lot of sort of maybe repetitive chanty lyrics.
It'll get the crowd hooked.
There was bits of it like first time through, and you were kind of bits were repeated. if you were seeing it live, you know, you could end up
You'd start
singing
singing,
along
yeah.
and stuff, and I think that works for them.
I want to mention the artwork.
Yeah.
The artwork's gorgeous. It is so
It is
well done. I don't know who done that.
unbelievably good. I'll tell you what, we'll find out.
I mentioned Mastodon, and that's another comparison to Mastodon. I mean, Mastodon always have great artwork. This has great artwork. I'd love to see that. They are doing t-shirts, but the t-shirt's kind of like a Stork Lord logo.
Yeah.
I know it would be pricey to get them printed up, but that artwork on a t-shirt would look incredible. And then just one last wee thing I want to mention about them is we've talked before about how all the bands within the Belfast scene seem to have their own little niche. Like, you don't have 4 or 5 thrash bands. You've got very specific bands that slot into very specific boxes. I don't think there's anyone else that sound like Molar Bear.
There's nobody sounds like Molar Bear.
So they've got that little box of, we're Molar Bear, we fit in here. If you want this kind of band, you book us.
See,
But
I think they're one of those bands that they like we've said about other bands, they tick all these different boxes. They can fit in with the sludge bands.
Well, that's what I was going
They
to
can
ask.
fit in with kind of punkier stuff. They can fit in with some, you know, slightly metaler, more metal stuff. Also, just by the way, artwork by Death to Default Graphic Design, and trust me, when you see this artwork, yeah,
We'll
this
stick
is
it
the
up.
fucking
We'll
business.
stick an image of it up there, right in front of Liam's face. I think that's us then. Anything else anyone wants to mention
well,
about the
suppose we
Molar
maybe
Bear?
just give it a score.
No.
Give it a score, yes.
I don't do scores.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
do
kind
a
of have
score.
to. This is how this shit works.
I haven't listened to it enough to give it a score. I would
Give
think
it
no.
a score.
Give it a score. Score.
Okay, if you're well, we'll just have to take an average of R2 then.
Yeah.
Alright, if you're going to push me, I would say, personally, like, it's not really what I'm overly into, and I'll probably not necessarily go. There's some tracks I like, I would maybe go 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
And that's just that's completely personal, and I think there's other people out there who will fucking love this shit.
That's all.
It's
But that's
just
why
not,
you know your review is personal. That's how it works.
it's not.
If it was an EP and it was just those songs that I like, I would be giving this a 9 out of 10. I think those songs are fucking brilliant. The fact that you've got all the rest of it there that I'm less keen on drags it down quite a bit for me, so I would be giving it a 7 out of 10.
Well, I would give this an 8 out of 10.
8.
Yeah, it's one of for me. It's one of the albums of the year so far.
I'm glad you give it an 8 because that makes the man's really easy. That gives it an overall score of 7 out of 10. That may sound. I think that does
I
come
think
across
seven's
as
a really. I
harsh.
think seven's a pretty good
7's
score.
a decent score. I think I mean, not that they've pitched this album to us, but we're reviewing it, and 2 out of 3 of us aren't really in that
Fans,
sort
yeah.
of thing. So I think in that regard, 7 out of 10 is a good score.
Yeah.
Yeah. I look forward to seeing them. Absolutely, definitely.
Oh yeah,
They'll
live
be a-
they're a fucking great.
If they play
great
Bird and
band.
Prey, I will head back
No,
like fuck to that.
Like I
song.
said,
That's great.
And
they
yeah, I'm gonna
introduced
take
that
them
at
both.
they introduced Bird of Prey at a gig in Bar Sub when a months back as well, and yeah, that's how you can pretty much guarantee that's gonna show up.
Excellent. And then the other thing is sometimes you listen to material, and then you see it live, and then you go back to it,
yeah.
and it echoes a bit more, for want
Yeah.
of a better phrase. So maybe that'll happen. If it does, we'll consider coming back and reviewing our scores. You'll be glad to know then that that's us wrapping things up. It's been a long podcast, but I think that is going to be the nature of these.
Yeah.
Now that we're doing them monthly,
Well,
as each month.
maybe not. But the fact we've had three semi-finals.
That's fair. There was a lot of gigs to review.
We'll not go into detail with gigs from now on. It'll just be like that was shite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got drunk, we don't remember.
Yeah. I
So
faded.
thanks for watching. We always ask if you can click that little thumbs up button down there on YouTube if you haven't subscribed already. Give us a subscribe. It's not cringy. It's not cringy.
It's
Everyone
not.
does
No,
it.
that's kind of what you have to do.
Yeah.
Love us, please love us.
It's not like we're starting a Patreon or anything.
Ooh, pictures of Wayne in a bikini.
Fuck off.
Yeah. Sorry, mankini.
Yeah, thanks for watching. We'll be back next month. Hopefully with someone different on the show. One of the new features after next month, Melted in the Masses will be wrapped up. So one of the new features we'll be having on the podcast is Topic of the Month, where we will debate. Is debate the right word? Discuss, debate various things. A few ideas that we've got rattling around is things like should you support the scene, which is kind of something that some people will preach you should do and other people
Well, I think they'll probably break that down into various different
Absolutely.
things. Like if you're in a band, should you be there for the whole gig? Should you be there for other gigs?
That whole circle of debate. We'll be bringing that into the show.
Talking about the future headliners for festivals.
Talking about festival announcements.
Because it's not just all going to be local stuff. We are going to maybe start branching out.
To a degree.
Yeah.
More gig reviews, more album reviews. Just
more of Wayne in a bikini.
There'll be none of that. PM me. Yeah, thanks for watching. We're actually gonna wrap it up now because this is dragging on a bit. We'll see you in a month's time. Get out to loads of gigs, support your scene, and as always, keep listening to the wrong kind of music.